Okay, so your question is, at the time of death, there's an opportunity for liberation. In that opportunity for liberation, it's called bardos, or the opportunity for liberation at the time of death. Bardos in the Tibetan language. In Sanatana Dharma, we say at the time of death, whatever thoughts you have will take his future life. So some people will have a vision of a guru or Ishtadevata at that time, guiding them. So the question asked is, how a spiritual sadhana which you have done in lifetime will help. Okay. So now let us take the two situations. Situation number one is somebody is a upasaka, means meditator. Upasaka means is bhakta. He is not looking for jnana. Upasaka, the moment where I say upasaka, the upasaka is somebody who is in the domain of the form, saguna. The saguna can be Virat Purusha, the universe. Saguna can be Ishtadevata, like Lakshmi, Ganesha, Shiva, whatever Ishtadevata. Saguna can be also Avatar Purusha, like Rama, Krishna. So this is called Ishtadevata Upasana. Somebody has done Ishtadevata Upasana in some way. Okay. Now, when you say he has done Upasana in some way, what he has done? Every day he'll sit in front of the statue, a vigraha, a form of Lord. It may be light, or it may be sculpture, it may be Shivalinga, and he'll constantly think that is God and meditate. Right? So that means every day he is visualizing God in some form. Because form is God for him. Through form of Shivalinga, through form idol of Sri Krishna, he is worshipping Krishna. So he is constantly focused on the form. That's one way. Then somebody else is there. He thinks that he is worshipping Vishnu in Vaikuntha Loka, or Shiva in Shiva Loka. Then he visualizes that he does a travel every day to Vishnu Loka and Vaikuntha Loka and meets Vishnu. It's called visualization or astral travel. It can be Vishnu, Vaikuntha, or what we call as Rishi, whatever is that. So he does some sort of visualization, some sort of sadhana, where he goes and meets devatas or deity. So there are two types of sadhana. One is I take a deity in front of me, do the puja. Okay, I'll invite. So ahvayami, I'll invite the deity into the vigraha. Then I think the deity is in front of me, I do upasana. The other way is I'll not invite deity, I'll go to the loka of the deity. How? Through a visualization, through astral travel, I go to the deity. These are two types of upasana somebody does, people do. In the path of bhakti, upasana. So they may do Virat Purusha upasana also. The whole world is Lord. Okay, like that they can do upasana also. So these type of upasana, whatever practice you have done, you have done a very thorough practice. Inviting God in front of you in the form of deity, or going to the loka. It's a very, very clear practice you are doing every day, day in and day out. So that means the practice has become deep in your subconscious. So now at the time of death, the mind becomes silent. The mind starts leaving the body. Okay. And then when the mind starts leaving the body, the mind, there's a pure mind appears. That's pure mind. It's called superconscious mind. Then the visualization and upasana, what you have done, inviting Ishtadevata in front of you in the vigraha, or traveling to that loka. Okay. Some of these visualizations happen in the superconscious domain, where it becomes real clear deity appearing in front of you, or real clear path to the loka appearing in front of you. The visualization what you have done throughout your life, the way you have done puja, that appears as a higher vision at the time of death. It is said that devatas will guide you to that loka. So for example, you have thought of Vishnu, Vaikuntha Loka, Yeah, okay. Then Vaikuntha Loka has Devadutas, Vaikuntha Devadutas of Vishnu. So that you have done upasana. So then in the vision, the Devatas will appear to guide you to this Loka. Or you have done upasana. I will travel through astral path. I'll go to Brahma Loka like this. I'll meet, or I'll go to Rishi Loka, meet the Rishis like this. That visual, that upasana I have done. And that is a clear visualization and clear experience you have done through astral travel while you're alive. So now that opens up really for you at the time of death. That means whatever upasana you have done will start becoming real at the time of death. Okay. This is the case of a upasaka. Then there are a person who is seeking jnana. Okay. So jnana, person who is seeking jnana, he has started doing Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa with his guru. Let us say he has already got jnana, he has become Atmadnani, a Jivan Mukta. For him, this discussion doesn't apply. Now, somebody has got jnana, somebody has got a clarity, okay, but he has still not got a mukti at that time, at the time of death. Because of whatever reason, he is gone to a level, his clarity is there, but he still feels he is not realized because of some vasana. At that time, at the time of death, if he has already realized nirguna, no, don't confuse this upasana with jnana, my dear. Yes, upasana, I have told you what is the path. Jnana, I am speaking of jnana now. So, person who has done jnana, he has Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa has done, he has not realized. So, that person, at the time of death, imagine, okay, at the time of death, the mind becomes silent, the conscious mind and superconscious mind appears. So, then he has a vasanas comes out. Okay. Now he has to make a choice with vasana. So the choice with vasana, when he does, if he has a clarity, he will choose a path of liberation. There's no vision required at that time. If he has no clarity, then earlier what he used to do, if he has no clarity, he'll ask Guruji, his master. Now he'll ask the master, please tell me what to do. Then the master will appear to him in some form, maybe in the physical form, maybe in the light form, maybe just as a Akashavani sound, guide him, reminding him the teaching. The vision will appear. Now here there's no visualization he has done, but throughout his life he has sat in front of the master, sat in front of the guru, he has done sadhana. That's called upasana, guru upasana. Whereas a person, deity upasaka, has done upasana with a deity, a form, statue, a vigraha, a imagination. Whereas for a person who is a jnana sadhaka, guru upasana is the upasana. Guru is the deity. You say, don't say he has not done upasana. He has done upasana of the guru. He has done his upasana for all the deities is over. Devatas are over because he knows devatas are either are symbols, whereas Guru is the Saguna Brahma for him. He has done upasana of Saguna Brahma. How the upasana? He has not done a puja or garland or pada puja. Whatever Guru has teached, he has done Shravana Manidhyas. He has done upasana. That's called Guru upasana. Guru upasana is what people do in Mukti Marga. Not by worship, not by, I mean, I'm not speaking of, not by doing anything, okay? Not by, I'm saying not puja and all. Guru upasana is for Guru is Saguna Brahma. If Guru is not Saguna Brahma, what is he teaching? What is he will become another school teacher? If he doesn't have a respect for Guru as Saguna Brahma or Ishvara, then he is listening to a classroom teaching. So now he asks a question. Okay. For that question, answer will come in some form, maybe in the form of physical form of the Guru or light form or a teaching which comes as a thought, like that happens for guiding him, giving him option. Now the choice is made finally by the person who is leaving the body. So asanas have come, the teaching has come. Then he has to make a choice. Similarly, the deity has appeared for upasaka and vasanas have come. Then he has to make a choice. Okay. So there is a question. The Guru has not appeared to me in the dream. Then will you get a vision at the time of death? The death is like exactly like your waking state. The mind will become very clear. Then the waking state, what will happen? If you have doubt, what will you do? You'll make a mobile call to the Guruji, or go to Guruji's house and talk. It's not like a dream-like state. It's like your waking state now, what you are experiencing, it's as clear as waking state. Then what will you do in the waking state if you have doubt? Same thing will happen that time also. It's not like a dream-like vision. Dream is a subconscious. The vision which appears at the time of death is superconscious, not subconscious. So it may not require vision also. It may not be, Guru may not appear, the light may not appear, but your mind will get a clarity. Oh, this is what I learned from this Upanishad. This is what I learned from this Upanishad. That clarity also will come. That's okay. Is the answer clear? So you should not confuse between subconscious dreams and superconscious visions. Subconscious dreams are impressions which are there in your mind earlier. They'll come up. While superconscious things is a grace. Because of your sadhana, the divine will appear in some form to guide. The visions are always clear. And the visions is as clear or more clear than your waking state experience. That's why it's called vision. In that vision, your higher mind, higher consciousness will give a clear guidance. It's not like a dream-like state. The dream-like state is subconscious. When Mother Kali appeared to Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, the Mother Kali is much more alive than your living person sitting next to you. That's a superconscious vision. For Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, it happened at the waking state because of his sadhana, because of his purity of mind. The mind is pure. The vision appeared when he's alive. For a person who has done sadhana, upasana, has done his throughout his life, has done sadhana, upasana, at that time, mind becomes calm and pure. At that time, a superconscious vision will appear, which is very, very clear. And this doesn't happen to a person who has not done sadhana. A person who is not in spiritual practice, for him, the vision doesn't appear. For him, this clarity, that clear mind is very fraction of a second. So his vasana will appear, vasana number 1 will appear, vasana number 2 will appear, he will make a decision and leave. The last thought will become immediately come. Is the answer clear?
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, Satyavati, any questions?
I think following the chat messages, I think the answer is pretty clear, Prabhuji. The question was, what is the difference in the guidance received between a person who has done some sadhana and no sadhana? So you clearly answered that for a person without sadhana, no vision, no superconscious vision will be available.
No, the person who is asking the question has a doubt. Because the person who is asking the question, I'm not getting any vision of Guru, I'm not getting vision of deity in the night. So we will have a disadvantage at the time of death. That itself, question itself is not correct, I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Because you are meeting Guru in person, you are studying consciously, then what is a dream? The dream is subconscious impression coming up. If subconscious impression is not coming, consciously you have already met the Guru, you have already done the Guru Upasana or Jnana Upasana you have done. So that Jnana Upasana, what you have done consciously, it doesn't have to be subconscious, it's a superconscious vision can open up. Whatever is required for your help, guidance will happen.
Yes,
so,
Yes. Okay.
Right, you don't have to visualize it. It's a visualization is subconscious. Whereas here, what is a Guru is reality to you, Guru Upasana is reality to you, Jnana Upasana is reality to you, then what else reality is required? That reality, what you have considered lived his life as real, will become more real at the time of superconscious vision.
So, Guru Upasana is following the teachings of the Guru with Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana.
All deity Upasana you do, Devata, because you don't know about Guru. Upasana is always about deity, either Virat Purusha, Hiranyagarbha, Avatar Purusha, or various Devatas. That's Upasana. So now the deity Upasana here, there's a visualization involved. Because you don't know the deity, you're not seeing the deity. There's
Hmm.
always imagination involved.
Correct. Hmm.
Correct, no?
Hmm.
You are
Hmm.
superimposed in Upasana, there's a superimposition of your vasanas on that idol.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right? So I typically give an example. The country of India has a national flag. So national flag, we give a respect, saying that it represents India people, it represents military of India, it represents powers of India. We give a respect to the flag. There's an imagination superimposition of country of India on the flag. We know very well the flag is not country, but our imagination to you superimpose. Correct? So
Yes.
that superimposition is called upasana. There's definitely visualization involved, there's definitely imagination involved, right? We are inviting a deity into a vigraha. Please come, my dear Lord Rama, please come. Like that, we are doing some visualization, some imagination involved. Then we start living it as a reality. We are offered Naivedyam and all. So mind is playing a role there. In astral travel, subtle body is playing a role. I want to go to Rishi Loka, I want to go to Devata Loka, I will travel, I feel like traveling, all those things happen. Okay. But these are all up to the point of deity. Visualization involved. But when you come to a Sadguru, there's no visualization involved, there's no visualization, all visualization part is over, mind part is over. A realized master is a living entity sitting in front of you. In your deity, you're talking to you in your upasana, still the mind is involved. Here, when a guru or Sadguru sits in front of you and talks to you, where is the visualization? It's all the reality. Are you understanding the difference between a deity talking to you in a dream or in your upasana versus a Sadguru talking to you in physical presence?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Are you getting what I'm saying, Satyavati? The presence of Sadguru will be as real. Okay, it is not imagination, it's a reality for you. So there's no, the role for the reality, role for the imagination upasana is over. Now the Sadguru upasana is, there's no imagination involved, there's a clarity involved. If you are really Sadguru, met a Sadguru. Understand?
Yes.
So Dnana, for Dnana, you are gone from the stage of a deity upasana where mind is involved to a reality where Ishwara Guru Atmetik. Ishwara is sitting in front of me in the form of Guru and talking. There's no imagination here. Now, if you say Ishwara is sitting and talking in the form of Guru, there's still imagination involved. But if you understand Ishwara is talking to you in the Dnana, then where is the imagination? That's called Guru Upasana. So that's why you say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat, Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are not praising Guru. We are saying Guru who is sitting in front of me, Saguna Prupa, is none other than Parabrahma. Parabrahma is my Guru, talking to this person. It is like mobile phone. When I'm receiving call on mobile phone is not talking. The person is talking, I don't see. Similarly, Parabrahma is talking to this person called Guru who is in Saguna form. If that clarity is there, then where is the visualization? Where is the imagination? That's the reality. So that's why a person who has gone to Mukti Marga, Guru Upasana, Jnana Upasana becomes final. Now, in the Upasana, the imagination is not there. See, please understand, if it doesn't get a clarity that Ishvara is talking to through this person, okay, then where is the Atma Jnana possible? So the person who is sitting in front of you say Tattvamasi. Oh, another one human being is teaching a Tattvamasi to other human being. Where is the liberation possible? Are you getting what I'm saying? See, liberation is possible when Ishvara tells you Tattvamasi, you are Ishvara. A human being telling you your Ishvara will not have work. For example, a poor person is there. Another poor person comes. Hey, come on, man, don't worry. You can be rich, you can be billionaire. What is the value of that? Whereas a rich man comes, business billionaire. I was also like poor like you. I worked hard and became billionaire. That value is there in the teaching. So the guru who has Sadguru means somebody who has already merged with the Ishvara, then who is speaking is not a person. It's Ishvara speaking through the mouth. Then where is the upasana? Where is the imagination there? If that clarity is there, then the words will transform you. Otherwise, you'll become another school teaching, primary school teaching, high school teaching, where go teacher comes and teaches some subject, it goes. Like that teaching will become. That's why people don't transform in a satsanga. Either they are not evolved to a level, or the Guru is not evolved. If Guru is evolved, Shishya is not evolved, Shishya is not able to see Ishvara in the Guru, then there's no transformation possible. Then it becomes a lecture.
So the starting step for the clear understanding of the teaching is surrender to and the clarity that Guru is Ishvara in human form.
Correct. A Sadguru, a realized master, is Ishvara in form. Otherwise, he is not a Sadguru, no.
Okay.
Right. Otherwise, he is a human form.
So the starting point is surrender. Surrender is essential.
Yeah, he can teach a scripture. He becomes a Pandita. Then you'll get a knowledge. But if you are understanding that I am sitting in front of Sadguru, who is none other than Ishvara, his presence will transform you. Others will keep on looking for words, lecture, education, knowledge. Okay. So now that is what your life is. So then what will happen? In any doubt you get, you'll go to the Guru and say, this doubt I have, what is the clarification? The Guru will tell. Either you may go to the Guru or you may remember what Guru has told and get a clarification. Same thing happens at the time of death. So that clarity which you have in the waking state will come at the time of death. Death, nothing else will happen. But that the mind is so silent and purified that the vision will be very real. Nothing what you have done in the waking state, living time, will not come at the time of death. But what you have done in the living time will only become much more real at the time of death. While you are living, you are not bothered about Guru, you are not gone to Guru, no Guru will appear to you at the time of death. While living, okay, you have a doubt, you will clarify with the Guru. So that same form of the Guru will appear in much more clearer form at the time, because mind has become one with the superconscious mind at the time of death, momentarily. Are we clear?
Yes, Guruji. This is very clear, crystal clear. So yeah, my doubt is also clear. But one more thing I will ask here. See, I know where I am now. I am sitting in front of my Sadguru and I have a trust that the Guru will lead me.
Okay.
But if I am not a Upasaka of any deity, if I were to be a Upasaka, then would it have changed in any way for me right now?
I'm not able to understand your question at all.
It is not no. It is a no, I think.
No, I have no question. I have not understood your question.
I have not been a deity Upasaka all along, but now I am a Sadguru Upasaka.
Okay.
So that will not be of any difference to me now.
Mean, when you say I am not a Upasaka of any deity, how do you know?
That is what I know of this birth.
How many lifetimes do you know?
This birth, how I have lived.
No. How many lifetimes do you know?
Only this birth,
that question is irrelevant because you don't know the life. See, person comes to Jnana after many lifetimes. He would have done something, you would have crossed that and you said, this is over. Then he would come to Jnana.
Yeah, I know. Now it is irrelevant actually.
The question is irrelevant.
Yeah, I got it.
So the question itself, I have not done any deity upasana itself is false because you don't know what lifetime you are speaking of.
Yeah, it is irrelevant.
Right? See, we are at this point of time, we have gone through many lifetimes. In some lifetime we have done upasana, sometimes we have not done upasana, sometimes you said, okay, done upasana and over. Now I want to go to Jnana. Like that has happened. No, it's a journey. Whatever statement I make, I have not done upasana, that is not a relevant question because you don't know what lifetime you are speaking of.
Yes. Yes, Guruji. Right.
Otherwise, how will you come to Jnana? That's why Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavanma Prapasadide. After many lifetimes, Jnana person will come to Jnana. How will person come to Jnana without doing upasana, without doing pure worship in some way? You must have been there in many, you are very old, you are trillions of years old because we were born at the time of creation. We have gone through many lifetimes, 64 million lifetimes, 64 million yonis. You have done so many types of sadhanas. Finally, you come to say, well, let me go to Jnana. Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavanma Prapadyate. To come to Jnana is not easy.
The very fact that this attracted me, I am here itself is sufficient.
That's all. See, ultimately at this moment, what you are, is a cumulation of all that you have done.
Right.
It's a summary of what you have done. It's like a student goes to examination and he gets a question paper. He'll write the answer. So answer is correct. That means his study of 1 year or 2 years, the summary of that is answer. That's all. Your summary of life is at this moment. And nobody will come to Jnana just like that. Magically, nobody can come. So people, we have so many births now. In some birth, we have been animals. Some birth, we have been human beings. Somebody we got married. Somebody we got divorced. Somebody we were killed. War. Everything has happened. And natural for human beings is to worship some deity, some form of deity. Maybe ghosts, the Bhuta Aradhana, maybe puja. So many things we have done now. So finally, summary is I have come to Jnana. At this moment is a summary of your life. Right? This moment is summary of your life. That's all. So the teaching of Vedas and Upanishads is Bahunam Janmanamante. Many lifetimes will go. Bahu means is many. So lifetimes you'll come to mature from Jnana. Then only you get it right with Jnana. We cannot evaluate our life with a small window of one lifetime.
True.
Our mind is so small now. How will you ever understand the whole thing? Any other questions?
Thank you.
What is the second question?
Yes,
Okay. So how the next life is chosen?
mm,
By whom is chosen is the question.
okay.
At the time of death, who will choose my next life? How do you choose the next life is the question. Okay. See, this question, Jiva Atma is nothing but Paramatma only, Atma only. You have forgotten that you are Jivatma. You are identified with yourself, body. So let us take an example. You are a mother. You are a mother and you start shouting at the child when child has done some mistake, or you got angry, you beat the child. After some time, you sit and relax and start wondering, why should I do that? Why should I do that? I should not have done that. I should correct it. Then you'll go and give a chocolate to the child. You do the correction. Who is evaluating yourself? Who is correcting yourself? In that sense, our life is we only are correcting when the next life. Nobody else. That's why Sri Krishna says, Antakale yam sparan bhavam tejandeham. What you think at the time of death, you will take that. So let us understand the process of death much more clearly. I am talking based on what I understood by Puranas or Upanishads. As the death approaches, the prana, the pranic energy starts coming down from our legs, body, or body becomes immobile. Okay, our speech stops. Okay, our eyes don't function, but our ears will be functioning a little bit more time. Okay, the mind is releasing its grip on the body. When the mind is releasing grip on the body, the mind becomes, the purer part of the mind opens up, purer higher consciousness part of the mind opens up. When the mind is identifying the body, subconscious and unconscious will dominate. Conscious mind is some part. So now, as the mind is losing grip on the body, the mind is becoming much more clearer at that moment. So now, what they call at the time of death, there's a life review takes place. A review of life will take place. Yamadharmaraya, in front of Yamadharmaraya, the Lord of Death, life review will take place. That's what they say. Typically what is said in Purana. There are two beings called Chitragupta. The Chitragupta has a recording of all these things you have done in life. They will report to Yamadharmaraya what you have done and what you have not done. It's called omission, and commission is reported to Yamadharmaraya. So then Yamadharmaraya will give a judgment, and based on the judgment, you will take a next birth. So the real meaning of this Puranic teaching, we have to understand this way. Chitragupta means Gupta Chitra, hidden picture. Pictures are hidden in our subconscious mind. Yamadharmaraya means, Yama means a time. At the time of death, Devata, the Devata is the consciousness at the time of death, will come up. So now, the hidden pictures will unwind from your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind has become silent and clear, and it is one with a higher mind in that sense. You are almost like a sakshi, a witness at that point of time. That means it's like almost like when you are angry, you beat the child. When you're calm, you are calmly evaluating why did I beat the child? Now you're able to calmly look at your life. What happened in my life? So then you say, I have done this, I have not done this, I should have done this. That review, you will start evaluating yourself. Then you'll say, this is the lesson I have to learn. And for learning this lesson, what is required, the universe will provide from your Sanchita Karma. A body, a circumstance, a family, a job, what is required to experience the lessons you learned will be provided by Prakriti, nature, based on your Sanchita Karma. So we'll take it this way. Before we are born here in this life, we are conscious beings, we are spirit, we are Atma itself. We have taken a decision to birth, to do some karmic lessons, learn some karmic lessons. We have decided what lessons we have to learn. Lesson number 1, 2, 3, 4, I have to learn. So for that, a body is created, a family is created, a circumstance is created, a relationship is created for you at the time of birth. Because an environment which is required for experiencing what lessons you have to learn is created. The lesson to be learned is called karmic lessons. Okay. So now your husband, your wife, your family members, your relatives, your uncle, your friends, your enemies, your jobs, is all circumstances created to you. Then who has taken decision? You have taken decision. This is what lesson I have to learn. And what is the opportunity required for you is created by Prakriti, nature. You'll get that circumstance. Right? This is similar to somebody says, oh, I have finished my SSLC. I want to go to PUC. I want to study science. So I'm not good in chemistry. So I'll go, I'm not good in biology. That's why I'll take only physics, chemistry, mathematics. So the opportunity is provided by the university, the college is provided by the university, but you make a decision what you have to study. Similarly, in your life, you have made a decision. These are the 5 things I have to study in this lifetime. So for that, the universe will provide an opportunity in the form of family, relationship, circumstance. That universe is in the Prakriti, Mother Nature. So you will get opportunity. Now, the moment you take a body, your past is forgotten. The past life is forgotten. The decision which you have taken is also forgotten. This is what I have to learn. Okay. So now you identify with this body. Then some of the lessons you wanted to learn, you wanted to learn 5 lessons. 3 lessons are forgotten. Only 2 lessons you learn. Another 3 lessons are pending. Okay. You get so involved with the body and circumstance that out of 5 lessons you have to learn, 3 lessons you learn, or 2 lessons you learn, 3 lessons you forget. And you will do mistakes in another 2 lessons. So now 2 plus 2, 4 has happened. So when the time of death, you will again remember, oh, before coming here, I made these 4 decisions. I wanted to learn 5 things. I have only learned 2 things. And I have done 2 mistakes in 2. That's 2 plus 2, 4 I have learned. Done. So this is pending for me. Another 3 things I have to learn. That decision will happen at the time of death.
But Guruji, the nature has already created and designed the life according to the 5 karmic lessons. How can I escape learning those lessons?
I'll give the answer to that. Keep the question. Okay. So what you have learned and what you have not learned, you'll start remembering at the time of death, because mind has become much more clearer. You get a bigger picture of your life. So then you say, I need to learn these 3 more things. That's why I need a body. Or you may say, because I have done upasana, I'll say, I want to go to this loka. That thought will come. Or you have done a sadhana. Atmadana, I want to get a mukti. So that mukti will open up at the time of death. If mukti has already opened up, Jivan Mukti, nothing, we are not asking the question. It has already become liberated. But at the time of death also, you get an opportunity. So this is what will happen. Then next body will be created by Prakriti, nature. Okay. So there is a review at the time of death. It's called life review. So typically in Puranic language, Yamadharmaraya, Chitragupta, two Chitraguptas come and report in front of Yamadharmaraya, then Yamadharmaraya will decide. So here really what happens is Chitragupta means subconscious impressions. Yamadharmaraya means somebody who is non-judgmental, who is very clear, which is nothing but your Atma. So you will decide, oh, this is what I think I have done, I have not done it. So then you will take a fair judgment. I have to learn these things, then I'll go. Then next lessons will be created. In that sense, you are choosing your path, heaven or hell. So then you'll ask the question, how can somebody choose a hell? So they're not choosing hell. What they're doing is, throughout their life, they are troublemakers. They have created trouble for others. That's their life. So at the time of death, that impression is dominant. So they'll look for a circumstance where trouble can be created. So now, because of their vibration, all the troublemakers will come into one place. Because of good vibration, all good vibrations people will come to one place. That's called heaven. Because of trouble, all bad vibrations will, all the vibration, negative vibration people come to a place. So now you trouble somebody else will trouble, because all people are, if you are a Gunda, somebody much more powerful Gunda will be there for you. Okay. Then another thing happens at the time of review of life. So what will happen is, we look at the life in the other perspective. Because I am the Atma, okay, Atma is in everybody, so I am experiencing Atma life in my perspective, but I don't listen to the person's perspective, other person. So then now, at the time of death, you understand I am everything, so then you look at the life from other person's perspective also. So if you have started shouting at some person, without understanding his perspective, now you experience the other way. How if I am this person? Are you getting what I'm saying? Your roles are reversed. Earlier you are harassing somebody, so now, or you are angry at somebody, okay, that person is feeling afraid. Now you get it, your role will be reversed. It's like, what will happen if role is reversed, you understand. That review will happen. That's called review at the time of death. This is called what happens at the Yamadharmaraya. Yamadharmaraya is not a person. Yamadharmaraya is consciousness, Atma. So now in that review, you understand, oh, I should not have shouted at the person. I should have learned patience. Then patience will become lesson number 1. Next life, you'll get an opportunity to learn patience. Okay. I have read a book from one of the one of the hypnotherapists. Very nice book. I forgot the name of the book, but you can check in the book stands. It's about past life regression.
Many lives, many masters.
Many lives, many masters, or something like that. So what happens is that there is a psychiatrist who is based in New York. Okay, he is a good hypnotist. He'll do hypnotherapy and take the patients to past life, and then try to understand what they have done, and then he'll get treatment. Here, 2 patients one coming from East Coast, another coming from West Coast of America. There's no relationship between these 2 in the life. So he records their life histories. Okay, so after a couple of sessions, he finds that there's very, very good there's a fantastic correlation between what they are saying. In one person was, in one lifetime, was a slave working with the goldsmith. The master is very, very tough master. He will chain the slave, then give him work. He has to finish the work within given time. Others he will use their hot iron rods to brand him. Tortured him. So now this is the history of one person and other person recorded from the past life hypnoregression. Next life, what has happened? This person who is a slave has become a master. He has become a farmer, and he has a slave who is the servant, last time's master. The slave has become master, master has become slave. So the farmer has to use the bullock for tilling the ground. Instead of bullock, he is using the master in the past life as ties him to the plow and beats him with the whip. So the master-slave relationship is reversed. You will experience life from the other people perspective, other point of view. What lessons you should have learned in the master, when you are master, you should not torture anybody, that lesson. Because the Atma is there in everybody. I should not torture somebody. If I am torturing somebody, I am only torturing myself. So that's meaning of karma. Karma means not a punishment. Karma is, if I am torturing myself, then I have to learn it the other way. So then master becomes a slave, slave becomes a master. So this he traced 6 lifetimes. 6 lifetimes, master becomes slave, slave becomes master. They finally, after 6 lifetimes, their karmic impressions are gone. Then there's no relationship in this lifetime. This is what he has recorded in his book. I think it's many masters, many lives, something like that. Okay. So basically, at the time of death, we will experience life in the reversal role. I have done this to person, that if I am in that person's role, what will happen to me? So that understanding will emerge at the time of death. Then you say, this is the lesson I have to learn. So then the nature immediately will create an opportunity for you, because Prakriti is nothing but manifestation of Atma. Atma's wish is the Prakriti's command. So nature will manifest a circumstance for you in that sense. In that sense, nobody, no God is there to sitting and punishing you. No Yamadharmara is sitting and punishing you. Your Atma, your Sakshi is saying this is what is to be done. So you have chosen your life. Okay. So in my own, I have seen many in my own students also. One of the students was going through a lot of disturbance in life. Okay. He had a very, very tough relationships, bad relationships with his father. In one of the situations, it came out that these two people were related as two people, where cheating was done by one person to other person. This person had cheated the person in the other life, and the person who is cheated has become father in this life, and he is denying him what is required for the son. So that's a fight. The fight is carried from one life to other life. Then once he understood that, the relationship between father became much smoother. So we are looking at life as a small window of one lifetime. Life is a flow. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. We are going through a stream of lives. The experiences are taking from one lifetime to another lifetime. The bigger picture will emerge at the time of death. The bigger picture emerge at the time before death. See, it's like saying, you will get a clarity when you have to make a choice. After you make a choice, you don't have clarity. So now the question comes, if nature has provided me the opportunity, why I didn't learn the lesson? Okay. Why I should have learned the lesson? If I wanted 5 lessons to be learned, I should have completed 5 lessons. Why didn't I do that? There's a reason for that. So when you take a new body, there are all old memories, what you have decided, everything will be disappearing, or rather kept dormant. You don't remember that. Because if you remember your past lives, if you remember what happened in the past, your current life you cannot perform as if it's a fresh life. You'll be burdened with the past life. So nature hides what happened in the past life, so that you can do this life as a fresh experiment. Forget your past life. In the current life itself, some event happened in your childhood, a horrible event. Throughout your life, you will not be able to perform. You'll get depressed. One event in this life itself can depress you through whole life. Nature will keep a screen on your past lives, so that that doesn't affect your decision making here. Now what will happen? You'll get involved in the body. You'll forgot, you don't remember what happened. You'll take life as fresh. Out of 5 lessons, you learn 3 lessons and do 2 mistakes. That's your free will, karma. Only person who has spiritually evolved, he will be remembering what lessons I have to learn, and he will make sure that he will do it properly and make his life fulfilled. That's what spiritual evolution is all about. Is there any questions?
No, Guruji.
Clear?
Yeah.
So that's why there is very strange concept is in Sanatana Dharma. It's called Runanubandha. Okay. The husband and wife Runanubandha is 7 janmada sambandha, 7 lifetimes Runanubandha. You know what is the meaning of that? Our ancestors estimated it will take 7 lifetimes to get over karmic impressions. Husband will become wife, wife will become husband, reverse the role. The way you treat her wife in the last life, husband will start treating you next life. Roles will reverse. To get rid of all this anger and emotions, it will take 7 lifetimes. If you don't learn lessons, another 7 lifetimes will go. That's the meaning of that. That's why you say 7 lifetimes relation. 7 janmat sambandha. You understood? So better learn whatever lessons you want to learn now itself and get out of that lessons. So what are the lessons you have to learn? Lesson of love, lesson of compassion, lessons of patience. A spiritual evolution is all learning lessons. As you learn lessons, you'll become more mature, you'll be more compassionate, because who is sitting in front of you is none other than yourself in coming in that form. Atma is only appearing as your husband, Atma is appearing as your child, Atma is appearing as a relative, because Atma only is there. There's nothing else. So if you treat somebody, the treatment is you are doing to yourself in some way. That lesson is karmic lessons you have to learn. So for example, you have a dream. In your dream, you fight with some person, you beat him, you hit him. Whom are you beating? There's nobody other than your own consciousness happening as that person and you. You are beating yourself. In your dream, the tiger, elephant, the mountain, river is nothing but your own consciousness appearing in that form. So if you are angry with somebody, you are angry with yourself in the form of that person. If you are torturing somebody, you are torturing yourself in that person. In your dream. So the Maya is a dream, where Atma only is appearing as a very different being, people. If you are not compassionate to somebody else, you are not compassionate to yourself in that form. So that's the meaning of what you do will come to you. That's the meaning of karmic lesson. Karma means what you do will come back to you. Not because somebody is deciding a punishment. What you do will come back to you. Suppose you hit you with your left hand, you only get pain. This is the meaning of karmic lesson. To see myself in others, others in myself is karmic lesson. For that, your roles will have to reverse until you learn the lesson. That's what is meaning of universe. Universe is a university. What is university? We come there to learn lesson. The university in our education, the teaching is there, then tests are given. The science I learn, then science test I attend, then pass failure decide by the lecturer. In the university of life, in the universe, the test will come, situation life will come. How do I react or act depending on my spiritual evolution? The lessons will come, results will come. Based on the results, I have to learn. Test first, the learning next. So life is a continuous process of learning. That's called karmic lessons. And what is that we have to learn? To see one in all in one. Self in all in self. Everybody is my own reflection. If I'm hurting somebody, I'm hurting myself. If I'm helping somebody, I'm helping myself. This lesson is what is to be learned. Then we become compassionate. Then we become loving. Then when we do service, I'm serving myself in the form of that person. That understanding will come. That's the meaning of Atmano Mokshatam Jagatidaya. Atmano Mokshatam means to see my entire universe in myself. Jagatidaya means to see myself in the whole universe. Then only love is there. Then only compassion is there. Then only wisdom is there. Until you learn this, to see all in one and one in all, we'll keep on learning karmic lessons by reversing the role, getting different circumstances for us to learn. But what happens is when we are in Maya, we will forget that my own circumstances like this, my own karmic impressions are coming like this, you will forget it. We think that somebody else is torturing you, somebody else is creating problem for me. We blame always the other person without understanding it's my lesson where to learn. So there's a story. A lady is coming from the office. It's night time. And she's walking in the Kapan Park. A big fellow is coming behind her. She's scared. She starts running. That person also starts running. She runs for a distance, then feels tired and exhausted and collapses. Then the person comes near her. Then she says she's so afraid. She asks him, "What are you trying to do to me?" That person says, "Oh lady, you have to tell me. I'm your dream character. You created me." So like that, every circumstance in my life is a dream character which is we have created as a conscious experience of karmic lessons. How you have to deal, how you have to understand, what lessons you have to learn is the karmic lesson. Lesson of love, lesson of peace, lesson of compassion, lesson of equanimity is what you have to learn. Until we learn, we decide that I'll take a next birth, I'll reverse the role. Next birth, I'll reverse the role. So one is learning karmic lesson. The other one is I have a desire. Oh, I wanted children, I want to have grandchildren. My desires also will take me to next life. Only a person who is very spiritually evolved, he has led a mature life, a life which is fulfilled. Atmano mokshatam jagaditaya. His clarity and purity is such an extent that at the time of death, he says, all lessons which I learned is over. Nothing more to learn. Then there's no more life. Or somebody says, no, I have a desire for money. I have a desire for power. Then next life will come. Or somebody says, I have this lesson to be learned. This lesson, I'm too much angry. I want to learn to be patient. Then another lesson will come. So nobody is sitting there and punishing you. Yamadharmaraya means your own consciousness, Atma, Sakshi, which is coming and telling, this is what I have to do. Any questions?
No, Guruji.
See, at the time of death, the judgment is done by your higher self, your own self, because the mind is clear. This I should not have done. This I should have done. Then when you come to the birth, you will forget it. Then start a fresh birth. Some new lessons you will learn. And this learning will continue on many, many lifetimes. Buddha speaks of many, many lifetimes in the Jataka tale. Are we clear? So we spoke of an opportunity coming at the time of death. The opportunity coming for at the time of death. The soul has an opportunity to liberate itself based on the vasanas and based on the higher teachings, based on the teaching of based on the presence of the deity or guru. A choice will open up for a person who has not become Jivan Mukta, a upasaka or a sadhaka. It will open. That's what we have taught. So now, this is called bardos in the Tibetan language. Bardos means a window of opportunity. So do not be under the impression that window of opportunity is only at the time of death. Every moment of your life, there's a window of opportunity. Every second is a window of opportunity. Every second, our vasanas will rise, and there's a witnessing of that, and our vasanas will rise. There's a window of opportunity every moment. Bardos is every moment. Between in-breath and out-breath, there's a gap. In that gap is a bardos, opportunity, window of opportunity. That's why I tell you, observe the breath, soham. Between in-breath and out-breath, there's a gap. In-breath is life, out-breath is death. In between the gap is higher consciousness. Out-breath is there, death. In-breath is life. Between that, there's a gap. That gap is higher consciousness and rebirth. In that gap, there's no duality. Okay. So the opportunity or bardos is not just at the time of death. Every moment is life, every moment is death. So we have to learn how to live as a witness, as higher consciousness, moment to moment, that only will lead to realization. The way you live is the way you die. The death is not very different from your life. So we have to live every moment. The life is temporary. Breath in, breath out is life and death. Every time when I sleep in the night, it's almost a mini death. Every time I wake up in the morning, there's a mini birth. So don't be understand the life and death is at one time process. Life and death is a continuous process. Then what is the difference between this death and that death? At the death at the end of, let's say, body becomes old. The death at the end of the body becoming old, the body has become weak, the life force is not able to sustain, the mind will become free from the body. Whereas the moment to moment death, now what happens every moment, our life force is strong. We're still identifying with the body very quickly. So there at the end of the life, the identification of the mind becomes weak because life force is not able to hold the body. So you're leaving the vehicle. Here, when you are alive, the body is strong. The moment to moment, you leave the body and come back to the body. Leave the body and come back to the body. It's like, the grip on the body is released between the gap between the two breaths. Similarly, gap between the two thoughts is already released. The gap between two thoughts is Atma only. Gap between two breaths is Atma only. Gap between two feelings is Atma only. Gap between two sensations is Atma only. But immediately we'll turn our attention to the sensation or thought or breath. We'll not catch that moment between the two breaths, between the two thoughts. So the bardos, the window of opportunity is every minute. It's not at the time of death. So the spiritual sadhana, what you do, a meditation, is to increase this window of opportunity, become more and more clear about this window of opportunity, more and more to choose the Atma at a given point of time. That's what is called nidhyasa. That's what is called meditation. That's what is called dhyana. Is that clear? How you live your life and how you die. The death is a summary of your life.
Hari Om Prabhuji. So
live your life for Atmano Mokshatam Jagaditai every minute, thinking that this moment is the only moment I have. This moment is only reality. Yes, Vasu?
The wisdom or jnana is available while in the body. At the time of departing, final departure, true wisdom may not really be possible because I'm not living as a witness. So living as a witness while living means that's where the true wisdom or jnana is. No, Prabhuji.
That's what your spiritual practice is. No? That's what your sadhana is. Either upasana or jnana is moment to moment you have to come back to witness.
So by stroke of luck or anything, if at the time of final death, the jiva makes a choice of liberation, it is not through jnana, but just being pulled, no, Prabhuji. Is that the way it is?
I didn't understand the question.
Okay. Is it possible that by the sheer pull of the teaching or the superconscious that the jiva is pulled to mukti without jnana?
Without jnana, it's not possible. No?
Not possible.
See,
So
teaching has weakened all the vasanas. Vasanas have weakened.
Okay.
Vivek and Vairagya has weakened.
Okay.
The final touch you make at the time of death because mind has become free from the body.
So it's a facilitator. Yeah.
See, what will happen if you see a person who is not well, no? His body is weak, dullness is there. At the time of death is approaching, the face will brighten up. Understand? So many people before dying, there's a light in their face. There's a peace and calmness happens in their face at the time of death approaching.
Yes.
So what happens is that the flame, no, the flame of life, before it gets extinguished, it will become bright once. So that's why the face lights up. Many people before death, one day or when the death approaches, they start feeling more peaceful and calm. What's happening is the mind is already releasing grip on the body. So the mind is more and more identifying with the witness at that point. At that point, the face grows up because the stress and worries will come down at that time. Then finally life will leave. It's like a dying flame will burn bright once before it dies. Are we clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Shall we close? Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamuduchyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Nanembudu Nanalla Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla Sachidanandatma Shivananunane Shivoham Shivoham Shivoham. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. I am pure consciousness, Shivaswarupi. Atmadarshanam, Brahmadarshanam, Brahmadarshanam, Satyadarshanam. To know the self is to know God. To know God is to be God. To be God is to know the truth. Antarjyotihi, Bahirjyotihi, Pratyakjyotihi, Paratpara, Jyotireva Jyotihi, Swayam Jyotihi, Atma Jyotihi, Shivosmiham. I am the light of the self-awareness, Atma Jyoti. I am the light illuminating the world, Jagat Jyoti. I am the light illuminating the mind, light of love, light of peace, light of compassion, light of wisdom. Supreme light, Paranjyoti, self-luminous light, Swayam Jyoti. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.